Agency and told me his job for 23 years was to monitor and analyze competing extraterrestrial territorial conflicts on planet Earth. The DIA guy said, our government has proof that 3 competing extraterrestrial civilizations have been mixing and matching genes on this planet, using this as a laboratory for at least 270 million years.
The human race is not a pure human species. It is part reptilian, it is part other extraterrestrial. I believe it started with a group of the reptilian type beings that began this experiment with DNA manipulation. At that time, other groups of non-human extraterrestrial beings wanted to also participate in this experiment. With time, those different factions started to not see eye to eye. That is the reason why we hear about stories where there's wars in the sky.
There are those that believe that the reptilian beings were banished to an interior part of the Earth, and that perhaps they're awaiting a time such as today for them to once again arise to take control of humanity.
If reptilian extraterrestrials were responsible for the creation of the first humans and were later forced to retreat beneath the Earth by other alien races, will they continue to remain in hiding? Or, based on the growing number of recent sightings, are they preparing to re-emerge? Perhaps further clues can be found by examining a secret underground Air Force base where some have reported encounters with reptilians. Dulce, New Mexico. This unassuming town has been home to the Jicarilla Apache Indian tribe for over 6 centuries. Jicarilla Apache folklore is filled with stories of interactions with Star People, including lizard and ant-men they describe as living underground.
To them, those star people are as active and interactive with the planet now as they ever have been. It was Western civilization that ran by and buried the whole issue of extraterrestrials and reptiles as mythological. But it is the Jicarilla Apaches in Dulce who will also tell you that they know that there are some type of beings that are underground Dulce, and that the keys are Mount Archuleta and Archuleta Mesa. And below those two, there are deep underground bases that have been operated by some form of reptilian-related being for centuries.
According to government insiders, located nearly 2 miles beneath the surface, is indeed a secret subterranean military base known as the Dulce Air Force Base. The base is rumored to extend 7 levels underground, with the lowest levels occupied by extraterrestrial species. Whistleblower Phil Schneider claimed to have worked on the construction of these deep underground military bases for the U.S. government.
Phil Schneider was a very interesting geologist used by the U.S. government to do excavations of large areas under military contract, where they were essentially going to be building large caverns and connecting underground passageways.
On May 8, 1995, Schneider gave a presentation in Post Falls, Idaho, and claimed he was attacked by extraterrestrials deep underground.
I was involved in 1979 in a horrendous firefight with alien-human type, whatever you want to call them. And I was one of the survivors. 66 Secret Service agents, FBI and the like, Black Berets died in that firefight.
According to Phil, at the time of his encounter, His team had been contracted to create an addition to the existing Dulce underground base. They were drilling holes deep into the ground and using explosives to create caverns. When they encountered numerous gray and reptilian aliens.
Basically, what had occurred was that we surprised a whole under-mountain base of existing aliens, and later I was to find out that we are not the highest on the food chain.
Phil Schneider later described learning about genetic experiments conducted by the same extraterrestrial beings he encountered at Dulce Air Force Base. But sadly, he would never get the chance to provide further information. Just 8 months after his presentation in Post Falls, Philip Schneider was found dead in his apartment with rubber tubing wrapped around his neck. Those who knew him best were shocked when his death was ruled a suicide, and many insisted this was a cover story for an assassination.
Part of what I'm going to tell you is going to be very shocking.
If people had learned of what Phil Schneider was revealing, they would have understood that there had been agreements reached between the US government and some of these extraterrestrial civilizations, and that there were many individuals that were abducted and being subjected to all kinds of human experimentation at the Dulce base.
Did Phil Schneider encounter the same reptilian extraterrestrials that the Inca credited with creating underground cities in the southern highlands of Peru hundreds of years ago? Some ancient astronaut theorists suggest that not only are extraterrestrials working with the government, they have infiltrated society at the highest levels.
One of the other theories in the field of ufology is that the reptilian presence is actually active today, and that they've concealed themselves by taking more of a human form, but have infiltrated many world governments or top world positions. We have to wonder if there isn't some type of an agenda once again taking place where they're letting their presence be known.
Might the stories of reptilians hiding amongst us be true? And if so, to what end? Some believe that not only are they trying to influence the course of humanity, they are creating a superior species of human-alien hybrids. Hove, England, 2008. In the middle of the night, 20-year-old Charmaine de Rosario Sage is sleeping in bed when she awakens to a frightening sight. A reptilian humanoid staring down at her.
I woke up. A reptilian came into the room. We went to an underground cave. There was a group of reptilians there, and they stood around me in a circle. Each one of them put one hand on my body, and I slowly changed. And it was the most amazing, but also sort of bizarre situation to look down at your body and see it morph from your human form into a reptilian form. To see the skin shift from being smooth into scales, and to find that I had a tail.
Could Charmaine's incredible story be true? Was she really transformed into a reptilian human hybrid? Charmaine claims she learned from her abductors that all humans today are byproducts of alien genetic manipulation. Some more than others.
At certain points in our history, different ET races have come to this planet, and they have not manipulated all of humanity, but certain groups.
The reason and agenda for alien intelligences to be on this planet manipulating humans and animals is because there are wars out there between different types of intelligences about territory. And that those territorial wars manipulated life.
If reptilian extraterrestrials have inhabited Earth for thousands of years, are they content to continue hiding out underground? Or is the day fast approaching where they will step out of the shadows and announce their presence once again?
The Christians are waiting for the return of Jesus. The Jews are waiting for the return of the Messiah. The Islamic community is waiting for the return of Muhammad. The idea of this return did not originate with any of those religious figures, but it in fact originated with the promise by extraterrestrials that they would return in the future.
Tradition tells us that the army of the Messiah is not to come from heaven, but is to arise from inner earth, and therefore dominate the surface world.
Perhaps we are now at this special turning point in our history and the timeline of planet Earth, where the reptilians and the other extraterrestrials will announce themselves.
Could evidence of secret underground cities, combined with recent accounts of encounters with so-called reptilian creatures, be preparing us to accept a profoundly different genetic truth than the one we have been taught? That mankind didn't only evolve from a race of primates, but also from a race of reptiles, whose genes were spliced into our own by means of extraterrestrial manipulation. If true, such a revelation would revolutionize everything we have come to believe about our existence on this planet. But it may also lead to a profound understanding, not only about mankind's past, but about its future.
อีกประมาณ300 เมตรเลี้ยวซ้าย
哥，
เลี้ยวซ้ายบนมรอง
真的是
18
够
มิแลนด์
到了，真的。哦，安仔，喂，係咯。
คุณมาถึงจุดหมายปลายทางแล้ว
Hehehehe